So here we have a program I've written, example code, and I've put it on Moodle. It's called stringsexample.c. What I'm trying to show is how we use strings. So we're going to concentrate on this right here in main, where I've defined a number of strings. So this string, string 1, I've called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I say that string 1 has 6 elements in it because there is in fact a sixth element. And you can see that more clearly when I define string 2 here, which also has 6 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this character called null or 0 in ASCII. Okay? Every string is very much like a character array, except it's got this extra character 0. And when C functions that work on strings, they use this to tell, for instance, where the end of the string is. Now, you can have more space than what you initialize as, right? And that's quite common to do because you might want to grow the string phrase that you have. Like this one, hello, you might want to add hello world. You might want to add world to it at the end. And you don't need to initialize a string at all. Here we have blank 50. Now text between lines, like right here, this is called a string constant. You just might come across that phrase at some point. Now if we want to print out the strings, then we use a format specifier, %s. So right here, we print out the string, right? String 1 equals, and here's the variable. Notice no brackets over here. Or if you like, you can just say printf string 1. That will also give you the string. But then there's no formatting that, like a new line or anything like that. And I actually added a new line afterwards because I wanted to. Now strings are just like arrays, so you don't get to work on an array by itself. You have to go element by element. Same way with strings. So here I'm taking a string, string 2, and each character I'm adding 3 to it. So if you know the ASCII table, then that just moves it 3 characters along. Okay. Let's look at what these statements here, the print statements, give us in PuTTY. First of all, let's hit enter. Okay, and you can see that string 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the second statement here also says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This for loop here, we've gone up the ASCII table 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just becomes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 4 in the ASCII table are just 3 places apart. Let's go back to the source file again, and now we're going to see some very useful string functions. These functions are in string H. Here I have included string H if I want to use these functions. 3 of them are of a special use to us. The first one is strlen. That stands for string length. It simply counts how many elements there are in the string up to the null character. So when we print this out, string 1, right, up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, should have a length of 5. String copy is how you put a different text into a string. In this case, extra space, which is hello, is going to be put into blank. Always make sure that there's enough room in the receiving string to receive whatever string you have. At 50, we've got lots of room because this only has 5 characters in it. Then there is string cat. This is how you grow a string. Right? After we've copied hello, that's what extra space holds here. String cat adds we're adding now a blank line, a blank space, and then we add string 1 to it. And we'll print these 3 cases. So let's go down here and see what we get. Okay, so string 1 has length 5, as we said. Blank is now hello, so extra space was written into blank. We added a space after the hello, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got added in. The next thing about strings that we want to point out is that we've already seen with characters, lone characters, you could get 1 character from the keyboard. Well, you can also get many characters. To simplify that, in configure.h, there's a function called read n usart. This will read n characters from the keypad, or sorry, the keyboard, and rate them whatever you want. In this part of the code, we've got a while loop. And it's checking, first of all, right, we're checking that, pardon me, that blank isn't equal to EXIT. And if that's not true, and it isn't at the start, it prints out this: enter a string up to 10 characters, carriage return, enter, terminates the string entry. The loop will terminate if you type exit. And then here a little message, enter text. And then the function reads 10 characters, up to 10 characters from the keyboard and puts it into blank. And this will repeat until we type exit. So let's look at that right here. Move putty up. Here we go. Okay, so, oh, right, and physics, and here is exit. Sure enough, that finished for us. Another feature that we want to point out is that there's a library, standardlib, stdlib, and in this library there's a bunch of very useful functions for converting strings. And those strings will take a number string and convert it to an actual number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in quotes is just a character string. It's not the number. You couldn't just add 1 to it. So the first thing when you have a number string like that and you want it to be a number, you actually have to convert it to a number. In here, I have a line here to read 10 characters, right? And then in right here from standardlib, it's got a to I blank. Blank is the string. A to I is a function that converts to a signed integer style. Down here, we have a to L, which converts it to a long. Please note that the format specifier then would be %li. And down here, we have a to F, F for float. Right? And you can get many different types to come out for you. So let's have a look at that part of the PuTTY here. Right? So we're down here, and it says enter along. Right? So that's much, much too big to be in an assigned integer. Assigned integer can only go up about 32,000, but it prints it out. Okay. Okay. Here it says enter float style text. Exit will terminate the loop. We're going to keep going because we want to see all the possibilities. Right? So you can see here I printed out, but it rounded it. That could be because I don't have it set to the full 32 bits. Maybe I'll have to check that. Let's have a look at this. So enter assigned integer. If I enter text, it just calls it 0. The same way with long, of course. Negative numbers are fine because this is signed. And if we're in float style, you can even do things like 1, 2, e minus 4. You can see that it converted it to a decimal no problem. So the standard sorts of text that you would write will give you the proper format. One last feature in the program that I want to talk about is how to create functions where you supply strings to them. Well, a string is very similar to an array, and we saw for arrays, as long as you wrote something like this, where you didn't specify the size, you could pass an array. Here we're passing these basically character arrays, so it's the same thing. And this function will work on those strings. If we modified the string in here, it gets modified back where it was created as well. Okay? So this particular function returns a 0 if I have an exact match between this string and some target string that I gave it, or the number of characters that don't match otherwise. Remember, anytime you write a function, you need a function prototype. And so my function prototype is up near the start. Let's just show that in the code here, what it looks like it comes out. Enter sign, we don't care, we don't care. We're going to exit. Okay, enter to continue. Okay, right. So I want to put in some text here. So if I say QUIT, it says no match. Blank was quit, but extra space what I'm comparing it to is hello. Right? Let's try HELLO. Okay, it's not a match because it's case sensitive. Lowercase h is not the same as uppercase H when you're comparing two letters. HELLO. Right? That is a correct match. So again, functions using strings, almost the same as using an array of ints or floats. One nice feature, though, is in a function involving strings, there's this string length, so you can read the value. When we were using arrays, we often had to put in comma, integer, in size of array so that we could know how many characters we had to deal with. But strings have this delimiter, so we know how long the string is. Again, remember to run this code yourself, see what you're getting, see some of the effects that we're doing. So it would be strings example on the Moodle. Bye for now.